our website.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me well? Is the sound good? Nice. So, welcome to the BA Excellence Conference held by the global BA community. Today, together with our very special speakers, we will explore the BA job function transformation topic in panel discussion format, which is super cool. Stay active, leave your questions in the agenda page. Our speakers will address them during the Q&A session. Speaking of our experts, I bet that you must have heard about them. Today we have Fabrício Laguna and Laura Brandenburg. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you both for joining, and let's kick it off.
Good morning, Olga. It's a pleasure to be here. An honor to be joining Laura. Hello, Laura. How are you doing?
I am doing amazing. How are you, Fabrício? How's Orlando?
It's fine. It's sunny, a very beautiful day. I'm in the middle of a conference here. It's called Building Business Capability, but it's an honor to join you at the BA Excellence.
I'm excited to be here too. I will just say I've had a few internet issues in the last 15 minutes that have cropped up. So if I'm in and out, that's why. So you might have to improvise a little bit, but I know you're good at that.
Yeah. And you're doing great. I can see you very well, listening to you very well. I also had some troubles. My notebook cannot connect it to the Wi-Fi, so I had to come to an office room here. So someone may enter. If there's some noise, I'm sorry. So I would like to start, Laura, if some kind of presenting. We have different perspectives in where we live, about where we are. Could you start presenting a little bit about yourself?
Sounds great. Yeah. So I am Laura Brandenburg, the host and founder of Bridging the Gap. And we're an online training company. And we focus on helping BAs get started and be successful in their roles. And I started this company 15 years ago after being a BA in 3 different organizations, mostly what would be considered smaller companies. They felt big to me. They had hundreds or thousands of people, but not like, hundreds of thousands of people, like a much, much larger company. And before I was in business analysis, I was a QA engineer, and I really just fell into the role. And I see a lot of people fall into the role. So when I say I help people start business analyst careers, often those people have years, if not decades of experience doing something kind of like business analysis, and then discover a conference like this or an article about the role and realize it's what they've been doing for years and really just need more of a formal skill set around. So I come with that very individualized, career focused. How do I get started and solidify myself in the career? And also just, I'm in the United States, so we do serve an international audience, but I have that kind of US perspective to bring today. How about you, Fabrício?
I was one of those people that have done business analysis for a long time, without knowing that was called business analysis. But I had the opportunity to meet business analysis I was certified as a CBAP in 2008. So a long time ago, luckily. But as you said, I was doing business analysis a lot, but I was calling system analysis, I was calling some other thing, project management. But the opportunity to know what business analysis is, to study it in an organized way, like the BA Bob Guide presents, lifted me to another level of understanding that was important in my career. And I became also a teacher in business analysis. I usually don't teach for individuals. I have courses online recorded, but most of my time I'm teaching for companies, and I'm doing consultants as well, working as a consultant in organizations, usually doing some kind of strategic business analysis more often than software development. And I'm also a speaker, and I have been in a lot of conferences. That's my main point. And I live in Brazil. That's a very different perspective than living in the US. So that the market of business analysis in Brazil is a little different from what it is in the US, I believe.
Yes. So, just to kind of dive into our topic today, I know the first question we wanted to talk about, we mentioned in our synopsis for this talk that I know I feel like the BA role is on a rising tide. Is that something, a perspective that you share? And, if so, like what kind of evidence do you see that supports that?
I share the perspective with you. I would say like that there are some points that we could mention that shows this type. First of it, organizations are more and more understanding the need to be nimble. And what I call nimble is the capability of sensing and respond to change fastly and precisely. So both things are important. So I have to understand what's going on. I have to understand the scenario, my context, and be able to respond fastly and precisely. And this precisely part is important. So if I have some kind of agile technique, so I can respond fastly, but that doesn't mean that I'm responding in the right manner, right? I have the best response. So business analysis is the skill that helps us to understand what's going on and define the best alternative, the best solution for a problem or for needs. Another thing that I see that's very important and that is elevating the role of business analysis is the rise of AI. So with the rise of AI, making questions, making good questions is a key skill that we need. And business analysis is the art of making good questions, right? So more than having the answers, we are very good in making questions. So that are two important points that I see, and I see that those points are not real just for business analysts, but for any professional. So a lot of people is also coming to my courses. I see in my courses online. Sometimes I have uh, lawyers, doctors, medical doctors. We have salespeople coming to the courses trying to learn AI, to learn these kind of skills. And in this point, I would like to ask you a question, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
We see other types of professionals trying to learn BA skills and trying to learn business analysis, and in some way playing the role of a business analyst. It's more common if we talk in the AI realm about product owners, product managers. Those guys are doing a lot of business analysis. Do you see that as a threat for BA professionals?
I think I have a challenge with this idea of other, right? Like if these people are doing business analysis, they're business analysts, or maybe they're doing business analysis under different titles, just like we talked about in our career history. We were at one point in our careers doing the work without understanding the title. So sometimes, again, like I've mentioned, for decades, people have been doing this and just not knowing there was a role. So I think it's an opportunity for our profession to expand its reach and its credibility and its awareness as all of these people from related roles are kind of moving and building up their business analysis skills. So it's, you can see every problem is an opportunity or every opportunity is a problem, depending on your perspective. So I think from a global perspective, as far as the profession of business analysis, it's a great thing to have more people acknowledging the skill set and wanting to build the skill set and bring that kind of discipline to their companies. At an individual level, it can feel a bit threatening because it feels like other people are sort of trampling on the work that you've kind of created a niche for within your organization. But on the flip side of that as well, it also means that the BA skills that you've developed, you can take in any sort of direction that you want. So you have these kind of footholds into other roles and you really get to build a career path. Sometimes I think the old school BA career path of, I work on a software project and I do this piece and I work on just the software requirements, is limiting for a lot of people and kind of kept you in a box. And what we're seeing is now we have all these opportunities to move into these tangential and related roles where our BA skill set can really help us grow and expand into those roles. So it's really, we can make it a problem and feel really scarce about it. Like, oh my goodness, that's my work and now somebody else is doing it. Or we can see like, what does this open up for me? And so I think just having that more abundance mindset is really important in that kind of question.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm called the Brazilian BA, but I never had the title of business analyst in all my life. I always do consultancy. I was trying to help people. So
Yeah.
it opens. I agree with you. It opens
Yeah.
windows more than closed doors.
Yeah, and what you spoke to about your career is really a great example of that. You said you were doing more strategic business analysis today. So, could you kind of share a little bit about what that looks like? And do your clients even still consider you a business analyst today? Like, is that a title they use for you?
Even I'm using the title. A lot of my clients don't even have an idea about what business analysis is, and the fact is that they don't care very much. What they want to their business to go better. They want their business to have a better outcomes. That's the point that they're looking for. So when I say that I do business analysis, I usually work as a consultant. That's how they call me. They hire me as a consultant, and I start by defining what's the strategy for a company. So I start discussing with my customers about the mission, their vision, their values, where they want to go, what are their goals, their objectives. So in a very high level perspective, and from that we initially define what are the strategies that can take us to realize our vision. What are the strategies that could help us to achieve our goals? And we start defining objectives, very clear and measurable objectives. And from those objectives, at some point, become projects. And we define a program of projects. And then we go directly from strategy and make all the alignment. I know it's not all BAs that have this opportunity to start from strategy, and a lot of them just start their work in a project that was already defined. Even if you are doing that, it's really key to understand the strategy that came behind, so you can focus all your efforts and everything you're doing to that strategy. That's probably the most important point.
That is such a fascinating. I feel like this is where so many BAs want to go in their career, Fabricio. So you've really created an opportunity, like a path, really. When you're talking to business owners or the leaders that are hiring you to do that work, I'm curious, like, what do they see as what's the value that they want at the end of the day? Like, what's the outcome?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the outcome usually is always business outcomes. So they want to enhance the number of customers. They want more profit. They want to make things easier. Customer satisfaction. You always have to connect the work that you are doing to a business outcome. Nobody needs a system. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I want to hire you because I need a new system." That's fake. Nobody needs a system. Nobody needs a new report. Nobody needs a feature in their system. What they're looking for is the outcome that they expect based on that new system, based on that feature or something like that. And when you understand the outcome that they're looking for, that's so important because it changes your perspective. And you say, "Oh, I'm not here to build a system. I'm not here to define requirements. I'm not here to build a new feature in your system. I'm here to bring you better business outcomes." And maybe the idea that you had at the beginning of this conversation is not the best alternative to reach that business outcome. So let's think it broader. So that brings to this higher and more strategic perspective, and then you can come back. So it's always an opening and closing way of thinking.
So they're really not even hiring you to do strategy, so to speak, right? They're hiring you for this business outcome, and you're using strategy to get them there.
Yes, you're right. So strategy is how we get there, and not and not how we leave there. Perfect. So let me bring for a question that most people are talking. I mentioned AI at the beginning of this conversation, and I want to bring AI because it's important for everyone. We are talking about that very often. So with the rise of AI, I believe that business analysis should take the lead and center their focus in organizing their organizations to use this new technology or to explore this new opportunity strongly. And what challenge do you believe are needed in the traditional BA way of working to work now with AI?
Yeah, I want to start. I know we've been talking about the strategy and the role of BAs and like more before the project, but I think a lot of BAs are probably still working within the context of a project too, right? So I'm going to start talking about this, like using AI when you have a project, because I think there's still opportunities to be strategic in your project work, right? So making sure, as you mentioned, when you're in a project, understanding the bigger picture strategy, the why we're doing this, what are the business objectives, right? And like, what's the problem we're trying to solve in this project so that you can hold that very true and see that through the course of the project. But then also exploring how could an AI type solution be relevant on this project. So using that as a potential solution type when you're looking at, it's not just business process and it's not just software functions. Where can AI be leveraged by the business to help solve this problem? But also, where can I leverage AI within my business analysis process so that what used to be like I thought of as kind of the busy work of business analysis, right? The documentation updates, kind of the details, the resolution of thinking, even the brainstorming of questions to ask. How can you leverage generative AI as a partner to ask better questions, to be better prepared, to be really efficient and sort of the detailed work of business analysis so you have more time for some of that more strategic big picture thinking work with even within the context of the project. And then as you think bigger, I know we had a great LinkedIn Live. I don't know, it might be almost a year ago now, where you were talking about, how can you be on the forefront of your company of what are the ways that we could leverage AI as a company to solve this problem for our customers, right? So like that's kind of the next level, but I think I don't want to leave people only with that kind of option because so many BAs are working within projects and that can kind of be like, oh, that's for somebody else. Like within a project, there's a lot of opportunities to be strategic in that way and start to have those conversations as well, which will lead to those bigger picture conversations in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I
Yeah.
believe there is always room to be strategic. There's always room
That's a
to
great way to put
understand
it.
where we are, where
Yeah.
should we be, and how could we find a path to be
Yeah.
there.
So nobody gets off the hook.
Yes, that's the
Yeah.
point. That's the point. Perfect.
I think we wanted to pause here Olga, if we have any questions from the audience. We have plenty of more things to talk about, but do we have questions from the attendees?
For sure, actually, we have one question already. So, Irina wants to know what technical skills are going to become more important for BA today or in the nearest future. You probably addressed part of it, but maybe you want to expand more. Thank you.
About the BA technical skills, I'm not seeing them changing very much. I mean the skill of understanding what is going on, the skill of leading with people. That's probably the most important skill that BAs have. Collaboration, promote collaboration, engage people, bring their opinions to a shared understanding. So finding a shared understanding between people, and I'm saying people here strongly because I'm not saying AI. So having those different opinions. I like it, a definition I saw sometimes, someone defining what's a BA, and he said, "Oh, I'm a BA," and someone asked him, "What's a BA?" And he said, "Imagine that a bunch of people united themselves are in a table to discuss, debate, and know what they have to do. I'm that table." It's a visual definition that I like it very much, and that's a skill I believe make people get an understanding.
For sure. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and I 100% agree that the people skills are essential. This question on technical skills comes up so often, and I feel like depending on your background, what a technical skill is can feel different to different people. So if you are more on the business strategy side, like just getting clear on what software requirements are or what the software specifically needs to do can feel very technical. The other aspect that can feel very technical that I think is really important today is the ability to model and understand data. So not to like build the databases necessarily, or even know SQL, though a lot of business analysts do benefit from knowing SQL on the more technical side, but understanding like how a database is structured and how data passes back and forth between systems to help a business process be more efficient and to automate that process, right? So just understanding how software works and then how to get specific in your requirements about what you want out of the software can be a really important technical skill set that I think is essential for a BA working on a software project, right? It's not
For
just the
sure.
strategy and the business part. And you don't have to know how to code to do that. You really have to know how to think very analytically and specifically.
Oh,
So,
it is so
focus
true,
there.
so accurate.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's continue.
Yeah. Sweet.
Oh,
I think it's over. I think it's over to you, Fabrício.
it's over to me. All right. So, well,
Oh, wait, actually, it's to me,
It's
right?
over to you. It's over to
Thank
you.
you. Sorry about that. So, yeah, so we've been talking about sort of the essence of business analysis and how it permeates all these different kinds of roles. Like you mentioned, like sales and marketing and different people that were coming to you. When you think about the business analysis mindset, like is there like an essence of that you would define as the essence of that BA mindset? And what does it really mean here that we are in 2024?
right. That's something I have dedicated myself a lot about, thinking about this BA
Yeah.
mindset. I think that's a good way for us to understand what unites different job titles that are playing business analysis. So, as you said, marketing people, sales people, if they're also business analysts, what do they have in common? Because they might be doing very different kinds of work. It's not the the roles and responsibilities that they have in common. There must be something that relate to all of them. And for me, that's the BA mindset. That's what this is about. And I define mindset as a common way of thinking, the way we think, feel, and act. And if we have a shared common way of thinking, feel, and act, we could say that we have a common culture and we think kind of similar. We tend to feel the same things when stuff happens, and we tend to act in the same way. So if someone comes to you and say, "Hey, Laura, please help me to to develop a new system," and you have been working as a business analyst for a while, you probably will ask, "But why do you need a new system? What are you looking for? What are the outcomes that you expect from that?" That's so natural. You don't have to use a methodology to do that because it's in your mind. It's the way you think, the way you work. So based on that, trying to summarize what a business analysis mindset is, I would say that a business analysis mindset think always motivated by outcomes, not by outputs. So we are always trying to understand what are the outcomes that we expect in this situation, and not just what they're asking me to do, but what they expect as a result of that. Another important thing about the way we think is that we don't look just for a specific situation. We try to be more holistic. So we try to understand what all the stakeholders that are involved in this situation, what are the needs of all those stakeholders, taking a higher view than just a simple situation. But if I change this stuff, what else is gonna happen? So looking for outcomes and looking it broadly. In the way we feel, I believe business analysts are open to listen. So they don't feel like they have all the answers. They like to listen to other opinions and other parts of view. As they want to be holistic, they know and they believe they don't have all the answers. So they want to listen to others. And they are not afraid of challenging the status quo. So they're bold. So that's a feeling about how the business analysis mindset is inside. And when you see that in actions, what you're going to see and how those thinking and feeling is going to become acts is that business analysts are always collaborative. So they are trying to engage people, even to have this analytical, this holistic view, and they are very analytical. They try to analyze and understand stuff and find cause and relations in everything. So That's how I try to summarize the BA mindset in the way I see. And if we practice and learn, if we go to Laura trainings and learn how to be a business analyst, you learn a lot of tactics and practice that often and often in a regular base. That changes the way you think, the way you feel, and that's going to change the way you act as well. So it becomes natural.
And I'm sure we could say the same thing about your trainings too, right? I always say I'm teaching specific techniques, but what you're really learning is how to think like a BA. And so like it comes out of the practice, right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
And talking about training and talking about developing capabilities, I have a final question for you, Laura. That we could try to summarize some of the things that we talked about today. We said that the organizations want to be more nimble. They want to sense and respond to change fastly and precisely, and in they don't need just BAs to do that, or they don't need just people with the job title of a business analyst to do that. They need more people with this business analysis mindset. So, based on that, how can organizations develop this business analysis mindset, not just as a job function, but as a culture where everyone could have this motivation to outcomes and an holistic mindset, thinking analytical and collaboratively?
Yeah, it's such a big question from an organizational perspective. And I know, like, I see a lot of BAs get so frustrated because they feel like they are getting constant resistance to some of the practices and the best practices. But I think organizationally, like from the leadership level, it's about allowing space for a pause before we act on an idea. And it almost comes down to like how we evaluate our companies, how we evaluate our staffs, what kind of outcomes we're looking for projects, but like having that strategy in place and choosing to think through the implications of a decision, and often pausing or feeling like you're slower at the beginning so that you can be faster in the long run. And that takes a lot of discipline, I think, in the culture these days, of the culture of quick results, fast turnaround, financial quarterly results that we're publishing and getting evaluated on. So I see a lot of tension there. But I want to also think about it from the individual perspective, because like that can feel really defeatist for an individual BA. But like all the work that you do as a BA within the project is helping your organization be more nimble, is helping them act on the best ideas that they're aware of at the time. And so the more effective and efficient you get within the project, the more opportunities you expand for yourself kind of beyond the project and to get into those strategy level discussions as well. So just starting with where you're at and asking those questions and creating those little micro pauses. If it's like a Jira ticket, that's a single little feature about how to add a data point to a report, right? Like making sure you're still creating that like question, why are we doing this? What's the value? What's the outcome we're looking for? And having those discussions that will percolate out. Any final
I
words?
hate to stop you,
I know
but
we're at the top.
let's wrap up. Yeah. It is an amazing conversation. Fabrício, over to you for a final say.
Uh, I'm happy to be here. Thank you, everybody, to join us. And I hope to see you guys online. If you're not connected to Laura and me on LinkedIn, please do so. It's lovely to make I love to make new friends all around the world.
I'll be the one to join for sure. And guys, everybody who watches, you are welcome to post your questions on the agenda page of this talk on the community. We'll address them. And there you can also leave your rating for the speakers. Again, if you like, no pressure here. And I surely invite you to join us on the next session on expectations towards BA responsibilities from different roles on the project. So see you soon. And Laura, Fabrício, thank you so much again. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.